You're listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.
Welcome to the BQN Hive Mind. This is a monthly catch-up of BQN network patrons at our second tier level or above. We just get together for an hour and chat all things Trek, nerdiness, and pop culture. So if you would like to be a part of our Hive Mind Zoom discussions, head on over and become a patron over at patreon.com/BQN. In the May meeting of the BQN Hive Mind, we had myself, Davey from Treksperts Quiz and Bargain Bin Gamers. We had Peter from the Trek Book Club, Amy Nelson from All Good Things, and of course, the fabulous Viewscreen. We had Stephen from Galaxy Class, and Patreon members Jim McMahon and Sam Johnson. The Hive Mind's back.
Wow, yes, in full force. Lovely to see everyone.
Back on so I just picked a random day out of the air and I was like, all right, first Saturday/Sunday of every month and let's see how it goes. What episode of TNG were you just watching, Amy? Or is that too much of a sneak
no.
peek into All Good Things?
No, we, as if you listened, we tell you what we're watching and discussing. And so we're doing A Fistful of Datas. So I had to watch the Enterprise go off into the sunset.
That was definitely one of Brent Spiner's tour de forces of acting.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a good opportunity for him to show off just how diverse he can be as, you know, as different characters, but all in the same makeup and all that kind of stuff. Too much fun.
Yeah, that, and then the following seasons we had Masks, which I think is an amazing tour de force for Brent Spiner as well.
Well, I haven't listened to all of your All Good Things first episode yet. I've listened to about half or three quarters of it, and I obviously got up to the part where Kelvin accused me of saying that Private Conversation was my favorite song from Subspace Rhapsody. So I had to jump on Discord and clarify.
Yeah.
I like it for its
that was about.
I was like, I like it for its comedic value because Kelvin's like going, "Oh, I don't like it at all." Super fun. Speaking of Kelvin.
Oh, I just saw. Oh my gosh. Unbelievable.
So you caught the math moment then.
Yeah, I didn't see anyone on the chat. I typed in the comments. I'm like, Amy's math moment. And
I was in the chat.
Did you see my comments come through on YouTube?
No, it must have been, you must have done it after the actual premiere or something because I didn't see you in there.
Oh, darn it. Okay.
Yeah. But it was there was people in there chatting when I jumped on at the beginning, and do you know what? I thought Kelvin was gonna have Sean beat there because Sean had a bit of a slow start to that to that, and
then they got really close, like 20-22 at one point, and I was like, "Come on!" And then
yeah, I think Sean got his big lead when he rambled off in order the year that every single movie was released. That was insane.
Well, except for I think it was Into Darkness or something like that. And I remember I got that right in the chat, but but it took like until Kelvin got it right for the rest of you guys to get it in the video.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, and then also the one when he was listing off all the guest appearances on Lower Decks. You got a big lead on that too.
Yeah, it was good for both of them. I've had to counsel Kelvin a little bit since he even didn't want to promote the episode last night. He was like, because I have mixed feelings about sharing this link.
I think after the recording, I woke up to a message of him telling me, I've lost my crown.
Yeah, I
Does this
got a
mean he won't
message
be
from.
representing the audience next time I do trivia on the view screen, Amy?
Yeah. He'll need to be
Uh,
put back in.
he
But those
actually,
were hard questions.
they were,
That and
MC did MC. I said, look, the shackles are off. Like, go,
yeah,
go
Yes,
as
she
hard
proves
as you
she can be
can.
harder than me.
right? And way more specific.
Mhm.
Like, man.
Well, we figured Kelvin's good at the specific details, and Sean Ferrick it's his job, right? Like Trek culture is a job for him that
Yes.
he does on YouTube.
Mhm.
So I was like, if there's a match for Kelvin, here it is.
Yep. Exactly.
As soon as Sean messaged me and said that he wanted to be on, I was like, Kelvin, you're going up against Kelvin.
Plus, it's easier on the time schedules, the time zones.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. So, and I was saying to Jim before that in order for consistency of dropping the episode, that's why it had to be a pre-record with a live premiere, because I had to. It was like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning for me to record with them the day that Kelvin got back from the Canary Islands. So
Right.
looking all tanned and wonderful. And Amy, did you tell me that Jim was going to be an associate producer on Treksperts?
I'm pretty sure. Wait. Oh my gosh, no. Here's my note. Jim, Treksperts quiz.
Thank God I brought it up.
I would have gotten around to it when I recorded tomorrow. Oh, Jim, I am so sorry.
That's fine. But hey, I waited a couple of weeks before I even mentioned it to Kelvin, so Kelvin, not Davey. Sorry.
Hey Peter, how's the book club going?
Yeah, it's going well. It's going well. We had a discussion a couple of weeks ago. Enterprise, Kobayashi Maru. So we had that, and we have the next one in early June is going to be TOS's Lost to Eternity by Greg Fox, which is one of the newer novels that came out. So yeah, we're going to discuss that, and and then in August we're discussing the new Strange New Worlds novel that just came out. Actually, that just got published I think it's earlier this week. The Toward the Night. So yeah, so we have two discussions on the calendar, and I just well, actually, yeah, for the Patreon part, I just
Yeah.
stopped the recording of the most recent podcast episode. So I did that just now, and probably I'll try to drop the public one probably early next week. It's of the book We Have Engaged the Borg, the oral history of Wolf 359. So I had a talk with Andy Plastides, who's one of the co-authors of that book. It's actually it's not like a Simon Schuster book. It's a fan published book, so it's it's a little different in that respect. But it's still, I mean, it's still really good, and we kind of go into the details a little bit on his thought process and the decisions he made when he was writing the narrative for Wolf 359. Because in the screen, we only saw like a scene with Admiral Hansen, when he was under fire, and then after that we saw the aftermath when when the Enterprise D went through the graveyard of ships, but we didn't get the details of the actual battle. So at least this is one version of it, Andy's version and his team's version of it. Not, and then we got the Saratoga, of course. Yeah, the Deep Space Nine. What do you call it? The pilot had those scenes at the beginning of the battle, but it was fun. I enjoyed, talking to him. So that was fun. I enjoyed that, and little by little. I mean, I think when we were talking, I was talking to Amy about this last month when I was on Viewscreen about us. Since we moved to from X
Twitter.
to Blue Sky, it's kind of like from Twitter to Blue Sky. So kind of trying to restart or start a little bit of a building it up again. But yeah, we have a sort of a core group of folks who's been participating the last the time. So hopefully we'll just keep it going. At least have a few people in the discussion because yeah. So yeah, overall it's fun. It's having a good
Oral
time with
History
that.
of Wolf 359. Did you say is that a self-published book?
Yeah, it's a self-published book. It's like digital. It's a digital book. So
Okay.
yeah. So but it is available and it's free. So it's there's no cost to it. So um he Andy created like a team, had got some folks who were also Star Trek fans from different specialties, the layout folks, the graphic artist folks, the his co-author.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was really good. Actually, he was interesting. His co-author, which is Eric, I think it's Eric Muirhead. He's a soldier. He's a real life soldier who's also a Star Trek fan. So he wrote some of those passages that talks about really about what the battle was and what the Starfleet officers was is during the battle. So they kind of split it that way. But yeah, it's self-published. But I think he was in contact at least with Paramount. He did say that Paramount said can't publish it. I mean can't print it. Can't have hard copies. So there were definitely rules and
Can't make money
regulations
from
that
it,
he had to
probably
follow.
from the sounds
Right.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was
Right.
discussed. Yeah, no money. Yeah, no money can be exchanged. But they went ahead and did it, and so they went. I think he was, I think ever since he best of both worlds back in the '90s, I think there was always just some questions that I always wondered about how that all played out, and this was one way of at least giving his version of it. So, but yeah, it actually started like Tranquility Press. I think he mentioned we talk a little bit about that at the end of the episode of the podcast, in which it kind of started all. It created like a Discord server in which they try to help other fans who wants to do self-publishing in Star Trek nonfiction, in universe publication. So there's a few other efforts of. I think the the Klingon War was another effort that's going on. There's the ships of Wolf 359, which is another project he's working on now, and I think Frontier Day. So there's different projects going on. Yeah.
What's that,
okay.
Sam?
Yeah.
What is that?
There's actually a long tradition of self-published Star Trek reference manuals, and when you were talking about this, I was like, I have one of these on my desk, and I did. So I've actually got one of the old TOS movie reference manuals that was self-published by fans. So, and it even has in the back fan club advertisements from the late '80s. Preserved.
Cool. That's real time capsule kind of stuff, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Wow. Pre-internet, pre-Discord servers, pre-Patreon groups.
Yes.
Back to
Oh
my
my
child-
gosh.
That brings me back to my late childhood when I first started getting into comic books, seeing all the ads in the back of in the back.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it makes me think because as I was saying, the woman who the mum of the mother daughter, she used to do that for the Australian Star Trek community, and it was all physically printed letters that they would package up and send out. And I remember being in some of those clubs too. And I think you got like a quarterly thing in the mail, always in black and white, printed on a dot matrix printer somewhere. I've actually just opened up the Wolf 359 one. It's really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like the
Well,
artwork and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's really, we were actually, that was one of the first things I asked and Andy. I said, like, how do you go about all the artwork and the design? And, he kind of talked about having it sort of an iPad style format. So all the colors, there's a graphic designer that he was into I think his name was was involved in it. And so, yeah, so it was really
Wow.
very well done. I mean, I read when I was preparing for the podcast, I read it on the Kindle because I had to. That's what it's meant for highlighting and things like that. But then I switched to the iPad version every so often just to see what I missed, graphically. So, yeah, so it's
What a
yeah, you
shame
could
he
look at it
can't
and
print it, because it would be
uh,
beautiful printed. It would make a
yeah,
like, just
Mhm.
looking at it now, I'm like, oh jeez, this would make a gorgeous printed book on like
yeah.
nice glossy
Mhm.
pages.
Yeah, yeah, like all the colors pop and yeah, and there is a rhyme or reason to like the design and to the colors and the tabs, and he was explaining a little bit that to me, and so yeah, so it's really, really, really well done. So they did a great job on that, on the visual and on the sort of the story itself. That was, really fun to read. So yeah, so it's too, like you said, it's too bad. We were chatting a little bit. It's like, hey, you ever have a printed version? Like, let me know. I would pay for it. So 'cause I like to have that in my hands and just sort of flip through it, and that tactile feel
Absolutely,
to
yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
So cool.
But it is available
Mhm.
online. I mean, and then both the Kindle version, the PDF version. I think that may be the one you're looking at right now. So that's the visual.
Yeah,
And so that's
the
all
PDF.
available. Yeah, the PDF. So yeah, yeah, that's great. So that's kind of stuff that's going on. Yeah.
When's your next book club chat on Blue Sky?
It's I think the June 7th and 8th, the first weekend in June. So yeah, so stop. That's Lost to Eternity. So that's is a TOS
Mhm.
book. Without getting too much into it, there's sort of like different arcs in the book, and they all kind of weave in and out. So I really enjoyed it, and and so yeah, so yeah, it, it sort of continues from one of the TOS movies. That's one of the arcs, and then there were two others. So, but it's a fun book and it's a nice one. So if you get a chance, but what I try to do is when I do the chats, I try to put some general questions as part of the discussion, in which you don't have to read the book itself. There's sort of general questions, and so that's another way for folks to participate. They don't have to read the book. There's going to be some just general discussions just about Trek in general. About related. It's kind of like the book. When I read the book, it sort of up some questions, and then
Yeah,
so
you
now I
ask you
present as
do. You
well.
ask really good questions like, well, this character, brought up a good point about the Prime Directive. What do you think is your favorite part of the Prime
Yeah.
Directive? So it's like you don't have to
Yeah.
read the book, but
Exactly.
you can
Yeah.
still join the conversation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly,
So
exactly. And I
well-crafted
kind of do
questions.
that. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. I actually enjoy those questions a lot because it kind of it's not specifically a book, but it's just like a opportunity, a framework for folks that
Mhm.
just chat, and so we kind of sometimes go back and forth on those questions in which it's not specifically about the book, but it's just like a Star Trek concept or something about the show or just so
Yeah.
so yeah. So
So
we'll see
Peter,
how, so how it goes.
yeah, convention season's coming up. When is Trek Long Island?
Trek Long Island, yeah, I wanted to mention that was my, my bullet point for today. Trek Long Island is, I think, May 31st to June 2nd or something like that. It's like the week after
Right
Memorial,
before
but
y
it's coming up soon. Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's like the first or the third, like May. Let's see, May 31st, like May 30th to June 1st. So it's the weekend after Memorial Day. I am still planning to go. It's sort of in the neighborhood. It's the closest convention
mhm.
to where we are here. And yeah, I've been to the first two. This is the third one, so I've been to the first two over the last couple of years. I really enjoy it. It's kind of actually you mentioned, Sam mentioned about you know, the old styles, newsletters and such. And this Trek Long Island convention kind of reminded me of that style of convention. So I started going to Trek conventions in the late '80s, and I went to a bunch in the '80s and to the late '90s, and then I kind of stopped for a long time. So this is more like a local, fan run type convention. It's a little less, corporate, but it still has, a bunch of guests, a pretty big vendor room. Um, uh, so it has all the different things about a convention that we come to who want.
Yeah.
But it's a
Yeah,
pretty,
it's
very
interesting too. That's
friendly.
the of the East Coast.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 kind of. Yeah, it is. You know, I think Creation has one in Jersey every year in November. And then this one is that's been the last 3 years they've had it. So
And
so
Sam,
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. Sam, I'm not familiar with what part of the country are you near Long Island, or do you go there?
Me? No. I haven't been to it. I haven't been to a convention in probably since 2019. I've avoided them since COVID.
Mm.
But I'm in Missouri, and we're a very,
Mm.
very convention dry state. So
Minnesota was convention dry for ages and ages too.
Oh, we never have them in Australia. So, I mean, we had one in 2023, but it was the first time I'd seen anything like it. It was called Hub Trek, and they had Melissa Navia, Jess Bush,
Oh.
Kate Mulgrew, Robert Picardo,
Mm.
and what's his name? Captain from season 3 Picard.
Shaw.
Todd Stashwick. Yeah, that was it.
Todd,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it was just a day in a hotel like briefing room, and they just did the talks, and there was some people selling trading cards, and you could do the photo, and that was kind of it. Like it was. So I was there with a friend I'd been to STLV with, and these other friends who'd never done it before, like, oh my god, we're finally doing a convention with you. Like, yeah, it's nice. It's not quite the same.
Local conventions like that are nice, but the big ones like STLV are like it. They're like the conventions.
Oh yeah. In the 90s, the official Australian Star Trek fan club used to organize these really cool intimate conventions in hotels in Sydney. And it was so cool because you would actually just have to pick up the phone and call this lady who organized it all from her house. And she'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. Yep, I've got you down for a ticket. Yep, cool. Get your credit card details over the phone. But what they did is they would do it over 2 days, and they would get you a discount to stay in the hotel they were hosting it in. And then it was usually over a weekend, and then like either the Friday or the Saturday night, depending on what days they were having it on, they would do a little gala dinner with whoever the guests were. But then they sort of branched out and started doing like different sci-fi. So like Stargate SG-1 was really big then. So I did one where I got to have dinner with the actors who played General Hammond and Apophis and the first Doctor from it and all that kind of stuff. But they were always like really, like they were so small and so like, I think what you were saying, like the community driven ones, but they were really intimate. Like I remember those ones because I remember like I actually felt like I got to know the actors really well. I think a bit like what Amy, like you talk about going on the cruise, it's obviously much bigger scale, but it's also much more intimate and contained. I'll go on the cruise one day.
I hope to too, but it's still 2 years away from me at least.
Yeah. Who is going to STLV this year?
Ish. Okay. I'm not even going to go. I'm going to go Saturday.
Well, Kelvin and James are going to be there, so
Sunday.
surely you're going to go and see them.
Yeah, I'll do the dinners, but during the day, I'll be working, and my counselors
you live in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So the counselors there, everyone's like, you can take it off. We'll be okay. And they were being very nice. I just still don't dare quite yet.
Yeah. Are you relatively new on your job? Is that kind of?
Yeah. This was my first year.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm first year with the university I work at too, and I'm just because we even had a conversation. We're like, oh, maybe I've got lots of frequent flyer points. Maybe I could go and do it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just not willing to ask for a big chunk of time off just yet. So
I just can't afford to go for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of get pretty expensive pretty quickly.
Yeah, I did the math on it. It was like almost $1,500.
The last cruise that I did was by myself, and it was way too much. And so I'm like, I didn't go. And
the FOMO rolls in though, doesn't it?
I know it does so bad.
I've never even been on the cruise, and I'm just like, I might have to mute Kelvin and James's stories. just for a week.
Uh-huh. Yep.
They'll talk about it on Awkward Things or something, so I'll find out about it.
I know, right?
Oh dear.
No.
What have we got coming up, Star Trek wise? I think Strange New Worlds is not that far
Strange New
off, is
Worlds.
it? It's what,
I-
June?
Yeah.
I think they have like the world premiere this June, but they haven't
Yeah.
they haven't released an official streaming date yet.
Ah.
And I think in Tribeca Film Festival, I think they announced they would be screening it. And
Yeah.
I think that was in June or late June.
14th of June.
That's just
yeah.
what yeah. So
That's
My
very
guess is
weird.
sometime in
Yeah.
July or August.
July, yeah.
It's so far away. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Surely it's finished and has been.
That probably has been
They're
for a
filming
while.
season
yeah.
4, so you're right,
Yeah.
it would have to be finished. But
I
then again-
wonder if like all
Mhm.
the like financial dramas and stuff like that at Paramount are just been like holding it up from being released or something.
who knows how they possibly think and operate at Paramount right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I kind of thought that I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought they kind of delayed the season only because there isn't really much else in new Star Trek right now. So if they, if they broadcast season 3 earlier, then there's really nothing else on the pipeline. It's so as opposed to what it
Well-
was a few years ago when there was more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what I
but
thought.
we-
I
I
don't
don't
know.
I'm
think we need to go
wanting-
into the whole topic of canceled Star Trek. I mean, just look at
Yeah.
look at the
Right.
backdrop.
But I'm wanting,
Mhm.
I'm glad that we're going to have Strange New World. Then we're going to have a break so we can digest it. And then we're going to have Academy. That's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping
Mhm.
for.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
So, because that's all finished. We just got this post production. So if we could get Academy, say September, October, before the end of the year, maybe.
For the holidays, yeah.
Is what I'm hoping.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully it's coming soon. Yeah.
Yeah. They could be sandbagging it so that they start to move into a little bit more of a,
More of
consistent
a
release
rhythm.
schedule or-
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe they need to try and drive subscriptions at a particular time around the sale of the company. Who
Right.
knows? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, for us
Mhm.
podcasters, when they did like, we're going to do one right after the other,
Oh.
no breaks. We're going to do 2 episodes this week. And then
Yeah.
it was just like, oh my God, it was a lot of Star Trek.
That was a lot to catch
I know,
up. Yeah.
especially if you do
Yeah.
recaps and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
And then when you want to listen to what others have to say and talk about it,
Right.
Yeah. That's
a
how
lot.
good old franchise fatigue sets in.
Yes.
But then there's other projects that like the one that Tawny Newsome was supposed to be working on, which is kind of gone.
Academy?
No, Tawny Newsome was
No,
writing.
the comedy.
A
yeah.
comedy,
Yeah.
like a live
yeah.
action comedy set on a
Yep.
colony or something like that.
I think she still is working on that.
Yeah. I
Maybe
wonder
that's
if-
why it's so hush.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Because there's been no talk of anything else. Like, she announced it, I think, at Comic-Con last year or something like that. And then there's been kind of no talk of it since.
Mhm.
But I always thought the idea of that sounded like she's taken a bit of inspiration from what Deep Space Nine was originally going to be, it was originally meant to be set on a colony on a planet, not a space station. So I'm wondering if she's kind of just picking up that unused idea, but turning it into a comedy instead. But it's one of those things that makes me a little bit nervous. But then I also think it's in capable hands. And
Mhm.
Lower Decks made me nervous before it came
Yeah, I
out,
was
and
gonna
I ended
say.
up adoring it to bits. So same with Prodigy.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
So would you have?
Yes,
Sorry.
I was going to say, wasn't there a huge uproar at first when Lower Decks came out about you can't have a Star Trek comedic Star Trek as an all out comedy that can never happen. Now it's the most
Mhm.
beloved series.
Right.
What were you going to ask?
Yeah.
Sorry, AB?
I think it went away. Yep.
Sorry.
Oh, would you? No. But when you were saying like your opinion changed, I wanted to do a what if. Do you think your opinion would have changed if Tarantino did the movie?
Oh, yeah, that made me nervous too.
Mhm.
There would have been a lot more swearing than Discovery ever had.
But with Tarantino around so many capable hands, I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if he's a fan. Hey, Stephen. We're just talking about about the Star Trek projects that are and have made us nervous, and we were just sort of going like, what if the Tarantino movie had actually gone ahead?
Oh my God.
Because I was so nervous about Lower Decks, and now, love it.
A better question, what if any of those projects had gone ahead? Tarantino, Shackman, or any of them?
Oh yeah, or if we'd gotten Star Trek 4 with that they were gonna bring what's his name Hemsworth back and all that
Yes,
kind of
I
stuff.
wanted that, and Chris
I still
Pine.
respect those two for basically telling the studio, "Go bleep yourselves," when they tried telling them to take half salary.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, particularly Hemsworth, like his star status had gone from like here to here, like
Yeah.
during that whole period. I still remember watching him on an Australian soap opera, which was
Right.
like in the very early 2000s. But look at him now.
Yeah.
Funny.
Well, Stephen, tell us how
Hey.
Galaxy Class is going.
Hey, I pretty well, I think. You all tell me. Who's listened? What do you think? We're getting good
I've
numbers.
listened to 3 episodes, and I like it so far.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Galaxy Class, I think I said to you on Discord, Galaxy Class was my entry into the BQN and to listening to Star Trek podcasts. And because I'm a big TNG fanboy at heart, yeah, no, it's so good to have you back. And you guys are great. You've got really good dynamic and chemistry
Right.
on the
That's
pod.
what I
It's,
said.
yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice to listen to that because you can listen to some podcasts where, especially if they're doing it over Zoom, like most of us do. Sometimes you're just sort of like, I don't know if these people really quite have, if they're just sitting here reading off a script or what. But no, you guys are doing a wonderful job. Are you having fun?
Thank you so much. So it's funny because the backstory here is that a year and a half ago was when this was passed off to us, and my co-host then, we recorded our first episode in December of 2023. I edited it, for like weeks. I learned how to edit, and I went to publish, and he was like, "Hey, I got a new job. I can't do this anymore." So I paused. I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna publish this episode with my co-host that can no longer co-host." And then there were a few people that might be able to do it, might not, and things didn't work out, and folks didn't respond. And then I started recording. I said, "Okay, I'll find some guest co-hosts," and that's actually episode 4. Was episode 4 was actually 3 episodes that I combined into one because it was this guest co-host I had. So I did my first episode with her, and then we did a couple other things together. But then I did the first episode with Stefan. I had to anyway. Long story short, I found a guest co-host at STLV last year. Stefan's great. This is his first podcast experience. It's my first podcast experience. And he was like, "What if they hate us?" I said, "Honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case. We love this. We're excited about this. I think that's really what matters. And as long as we're having fun, the listeners will have fun." And I think that's been the case so far. So yay.
No, and I think you've got such a wonderful topic to tap into as well. And Galaxy Class went for so long with so much unexplored content still. So it's I'm so happy you've passed the torch, Amy.
Yes. I know. It just killed me to let go of that podcast, but it was time.
How long had you
It's
done
fun.
it beforehand? How long had it been going for? It was years, wasn't it?
Well, if you consider my time on Earl Grey,
Mm-hmm.
which was where I was right before, we left and started Galaxy Class. So I started that in 2017.
And you were an add-on, and you like joined that like in progress. That show had gone that had gone through like several different host changes.
No, it was just the one previous. It was the 3 guys.
Oh, okay.
And then they wanted, but Jim, yes, you know the behind the details because I was their 3rd choice host because they had 2 others in mind before me. So yeah.
Well, more for them.
And look at us
Right?
now, you know?
Exactly.
We've got, our own little network and podcasting with all my friends. So
Yeah. I've always looked at
Pretty
it
cool.
like that. It's literally just hanging out and talking
yes.
about geeky things that I love. That's why Mitch and I do Bargain Bin Gamers together, because we both love gaming, and we do it together in the same space, which is actually quite rare for a podcast these days. But
Yeah.
it just means that we can come together. It gives us an excuse to hang out and to play games and just be silly and do silly things. So good that you're loving it, Stephen. That's so cool.
It's fun. When this all started, Stefan, the computer that I had a MacBook Air, and excuse me, the episodes I recorded last year with our guest co-hosts, who you'll hear more of the next couple weeks, my computer kept overheating, and I was like, I'm just recording. I bought it for my doctorate. I was getting an EDD, and I was like, I need Zoom and Office, like that. It was fine for that, but this wasn't working so well. So my new co-host Stephanie's like, oh, just go get a Mac Mini. I haven't owned a desktop since I was in college, and I won't tell you how long ago that was, but it was a minute. And it's the best thing ever. So he's great with technology. I got it all set up, and then he mailed me this packet of. So if you've heard a few episodes, you've heard us doing our CC, our customizable card game roulette, and it's this fun thing where we just like randomly pick a card and talk about it, and it's just so much fun. Like he's like, I have
My
ideas, he has
favorite segment, by the way.
ideas. Sorry.
My favorite segment, by the way.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's fun. Like we pick a
cool.
random card and try to relate it somehow. If it's not a TNG card, we try to relate it to TNG in some way, shape, or form, which can be a challenge. But he's just like episode 5. Please, if you get a chance, listen to episode 5. He was like, I have an idea. I'm not going to tell you anything about it. Just come to the recording. Are you okay with that? And I said, sure. Great. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And this is what's great, is that he and I just kind of like bounce off each other. It's nice. It's nice to have that camaraderie. Like he lives in Alaska. Like we're 4 hours apart. I mean, I know, Davey, that's nothing, but but we wouldn't really like talk that much otherwise. But now we talk weekly, and it's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a fun way to connect and talk about a thing we love. And this is how. So, how many people here ever played the customizable card game?
Yeah.
All right.
I had
So
hundreds and hundreds of those cards. Yeah.
there's 3 episodes coming up.
An entire box of them behind me outside of the
That's-
picture.
I've got one right. Yeah, I've got one here in my case. It's unopened. It's actually still in plastic. But turns out one of my friends, her brother, is on the continuance committee for the CCG. So I've already recorded episodes with him talking about the card game, its origins, how it's evolved, and where it's going. So we're gonna do 2 episodes about it this season, and then 2 next season. But it's great. It's like just a random connection of like, actually, my brother knows about that card stuff, and I was like, let me talk to him. And
Right.
he's on the continuance committee. Like he still helps run this as it stands now, as it exists today. So it's fun. It's fun. And thank you to Amy for being like, hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? No.
She's good like that. She's
She's
roped a few, like myself and Peter. We've both been through that. Like, you should come on the network.
I think you've got most of the people on this network, and you got me in.
Yep.
She's great with that. I mean, but you're so wonderful. Like you're just a wonderful human. So we're like, sure, we'll do something
thanks.
for you. Sure, we'll hang. When I started editing, I was like, damn you, Amy. Damn you.
I
But now I know what I'm doing, thanks in part to Amy, and just messing around with it, and it is fun. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Sounds like you've got the bug. Like you've got the bug. You've done your first few episodes, and all of a sudden you've got these ideas spawning.
I bought the fancy microphone.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
Right? Yeah, I bought my blue Yeti. And mine's actually blue. It's so silly. But yeah, I bought a new computer and a microphone, and like I'm clearly like invested in this. Literally invested in this.
Yeah. If you go back to like early episodes of Treksperts, you can definitely kind of tell as I started to get more technology, like microphone and camera and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
first episode, like there was a Blue Yeti involved, but it was literally just sitting on my dining room table, and I had a bunch of friends came over. We did it in person, and like the sound effects, like
That is correct.
all that stuff, that was literally just a speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker sitting next to the microphone.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. Well, you'll hear because the episodes I recorded last year was before I bought all this. So,
Yeah.
and I've had to record some things to edit in so that so I had to re-record with just my old like earbuds because I wanted the quality to match. So like episode 4 you'll hear as a different song quality, and then episodes 6 and 7 will also have that older quality because I recorded them a year ago. And but it's funny to hear the difference because the microphone does make a huge difference, right? I was like, it can't be that different. But Stefan had a nice microphone on our first recording and I didn't, and I was like, oh my God, I sound horrible. It's fine. It's fine. But it was very noticeable.
I've got to jump off. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
I've
Well,
got
we
to.
just so appreciate this.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on, everyone. Well,
Yeah.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll have another catch up next month.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Cool.
definitely.
We'll
Yeah,
have
it was
to
great. It's great chatting with
see.
everyone.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our BQN Hive Mind catch up. These will drop every single month. And if you are part of our Patreon collective at the second tier or above, you are welcome to join us. Keep an eye out in the Patreon app or patreon.com/BQN for details when the recordings are coming up. See you next time on the BQN Hive Mind.
What shows are on BQN, you ask? Well, here's a rundown of some podcasts you might be interested in. All Good Things, a Star Trek Universe podcast covering all of Trek, hosted by Amy, Christos, Kelvin, and Kristen. Whether you've got Xbox or Nintendo, check out Bargain Bin Gamer, a YouTube show hosted by Davey and Mitch, self-proclaimed gamers who specializes in reviewing and showcasing affordable video games. Grab your popcorn as you listen to Cinema Z, a film discussion and review podcast showcasing films you probably missed but should definitely check out, hosted by Mark and Matt. Don your apron for The Food Replicator, where Matthew eats and drinks his way through Star Trek Cocktail and 3 cookbooks. Beam Aboard Galaxy Class, a Star Trek Next Generation podcast covering all of TNG, hosted by Steven. In order to not repeat it, listen to History with the Zalagis, a snippet of historical events from around the world, hosted by Chrissy and Jason. For the newest Trek coverage, check out Infinite Diversity, hosted by Chrissy and Thad. Curl up with a good book and delve into beta canon with Peter, host of the Trek Book Club on Twitter and Blue Sky, and his companion Trek Book Club podcast. Test your Trek knowledge with Treksperts Quiz, a Star Trek quiz show hosted and written by Davey and MC. If you're a member of Starfleet Federation or Planetary Union, go check out Union Federation, covering current Star Trek and the Orville, which we all know is really a Trek show, hosted by Kyle, Kevin, Amy, and Haley. Head over to YouTube and watch the Viewscreen live on Sundays, your Trek-inspired talk show hosted by Kelvin and Amy with new 8-week seasons in the spring and fall. Spill the tea with Christos while he discusses current Trek news and events and explores the world of fandom via guest interviews, all with an LGBTQIA+ perspective on What's the T-Bev. And for our patron members, we have the Hive Mind with script readings and roundtable discussion. It's Green, a cornucopia of topics, then Amy's Math Moments, a quick look at math moments in Star Trek. You can keep up with all of these shows by following the network at BQN Podcasts on Instagram and Blue Sky. We know you have a choice of podcasts to choose from, and we thank you for listening to BQN. Assimilate the audio.